Okay, so it's called Four Dead Queens. It's not a spoiler. That is what happened.
I mean, it's a huge spoiler.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. But it's a good spoiler and a half. It's a murder mystery set in a fantasy world, and this fantasy nation is split into 4 very different quadrants, which have different values, different beliefs, and different climates, and it's ruled by 4 very different queens. And these queens start getting killed off one by one. And it's up to the main character, 17-year-old Carolee Corrington, who's a thief from her quadrant, to figure out why the queens were murdered and not be the next on the murderers list. It's probably a little bit longer than an elevator pitch, but...
Well, I don't know, everyone was breathlessly silent, so I think you pulled it off. So one of the things I really enjoyed about the book was the quadrants and how each one of them was completely its own distinct place. So if you had to choose one of them to live in, which one would you choose? Tell us a little about it, and how would you do?
Well, so I would definitely live in Ludia, which is the entertainment quadrant. It's all about art, music, literature, and it's all about the fun things in life. I'm a massive kid at heart, and I think that's one of the reasons why I love YA. I would do pretty well not having to worry about work and the realities of life and just living it up.
I mean, that's what it's like to be a writer anyway.
Pretty much.
What we do is just
It's a party all the time.
Yeah.
Guys. It's just like...
I mean, it's a pajama party most of the time, but yeah, we just lie around and wait for the news.
not a well-dressed party at all.
You've told us about Carolee, who's one of the 2 people who have to team up to solve this problem. She has to team up with Varen.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about each of them? What are they like, and where are they coming from, and how psyched are they about the situation in which they find themselves?
Well, not so psyched. Getting embroiled in a royal murder mystery is never a fun time. Although, Carolee does make the most of any situation she's in. She's very headstrong, independent, intelligent, sassy, and she's gonna solve this thing because that's who she is. And Varen, on the other hand, he's from a different quadrant than Carolee. Carolee is from Toria, which is basically involved in business and trade, whereas Varen's all about community, loyalty, and not about the selfish, about the individual, whereas Carolee's the opposite. So it's a good...
Right, and she takes a very business-like approach to it.
She does.
You know, whereas that's a little distressing for him at times.
She's all about curiosity, she's all about, getting involved, and Varen's just about resolving the situation and not getting fired or killed or whatever might
Any other nasty thing. I mean, the sort of things that, let's be real, would concern a sensible person.
Yes, he's a very sensible person, perhaps too sensible if you ask Carolee.
Sorting hat time, because everything comes back to Harry Potter with
Yes.
me. And I think it's a great way to kind of give people a feel for what a book's like without accidentally telling them too much. Into what houses would you sort Carolee and Varen and our queens?
So Carolee is very much a Slytherin, that's easy,
Yeah.
hands down. Varen, I would say, is a Hufflepuff. He's sensitive, he's a sensitive soul.
So, I mean, if you want to know anything about the book, really just know it's a slightly concerned, distressed Hufflepuff being dragged along to solve a murder by a Slytherin. And I mean,
That's a great way to describe it.
you know what the book's about now. And you know it's for you.
The queens, Iris, Queen Iris, who is represented here by my little Funko friend, is definitely a Slytherin as well. She's a very strong-minded, a bold, a passionate queen for her quadrant. And then we have Marguerite. She would be a Ravenclaw. She's all about knowing everything that there is to know, whether that's about her own quadrant or all the other quadrants. And she's also a bit of a mother hen. We have Cora. She would probably be a Hufflepuff, question mark. And Stessa would be, have I covered all of them? I feel like there needs to be... Yeah, no one's a Gryffindor. No. Dessa would probably be half Slytherin, half Ravenclaw.
I'll buy that. So, I mean, there's a lot we could unpack about this book. Like, the timeline must have been challenging to handle, and the pacing is just pretty non-stop the whole way through. I mean, for me, that's the mark of a great book, is that I can't stop, and frankly, I don't want to. But what was hard about writing the book? What did you really have to push yourself on?
I think for me it was blending the idea of a fantasy novel with the breakneck speed of a crime thriller. or murder mystery, because you're used to that pace in crime and more questions and twists and everything being thrown at you constantly, but you also have to build a world in fantasy, which takes time.
Well, and I mean, with crime, even those of us who aren't big crime readers, everyone's seen a crime movie or watched a crime TV show, and we all know it doesn't feel right unless it's going fast.
Yes.
But when we're reading fantasy, we all know that now we're going to pause for a page to tell you about the marketplace, and but that's okay, because we want to learn about the world, and so provided it's done well, we're enjoying it. So how did you go about weaving those two things together? How did you go about fitting in the world building detail while kind of never stopping?
Well, the way that I attempted it was with Carolee's part of the journey. So it is alternating perspectives between Carolee and the Queens. She's the part that is, the breakneck speed, the train going off the tracks, and you're along for the ride. But with the Queens, you get a little bit more of the backstory especially because they're each from different quadrants. So you get to a taste of where they're from, what they believe, and who they are as a person. So I kind of fleshed it out in chunks as we progress, and hopefully keep that pace.
Right, because I felt with each of the Queens, like they're not just telling you about their quadrant, it's what they see and what they care about and what they take note of tells you a lot about who they are and where they've come from. Just their point of view that they don't even know they have.
And what secrets they're keeping, which is all weaved.
Yes, which spoilers many, many for everyone. All right, so taking a step back, I know at these events we always have a lot of aspiring writers in the crowd, and you were one of them. Years ago you were sitting in the audience watching these events. So tell us what happened between then and now, and leave out the part where you have to sacrifice a goat, because no one wants to know about that. It's messy and they'll find out when they have to. But apart from that, and the many, many years,
I'll do a condensed version.
One day one.
Basically, I was always coming to events like this. I've been writing for 10 years, pretty much with the aim of getting published. This was my third completed manuscript. I wrote 2 previous YA fantasies and their sequels. Please don't write a sequel to a book you haven't sold. I did that twice. I learned the hard way.
The wise words of Astrid. If nobody buys the first one, the odds of them buying the second one.
I tried to get published, and I actually got into a competition called Pitch Wars, which was an online writing competition where you get paired with a mentor to help polish a manuscript. That manuscript was 4 Dead Queens. I got my agent through Pitch Wars, so after that I signed with Hilary Jacobson of ICM Partners in New York. We went out on submission just like 3 weeks later. It was really after and I got my book deal with Penguin Random House first in the US, and then Allen and Unwin picked up 4 Dead Queens a little bit after that. So I've made it seem really simple and easy.
After I accidentally buttonholed one of the Allen and Unwin author editors to introduce Astrid and say, she's got a wonderful book, you must read it, not knowing it was literally in the editor's bag. And then
true story.
Yeah, awkward. Whoops, my bad. So next question I've jotted down because I wanted to know. You're a notorious Disney addict. I mean, your study at home is decorated in the style of
Belle's library.
Yeah, she just got back from Disneyland. I mean, it's what she does. This is darker than Disney on the whole.
Is it dark? Is it?
I mean, maybe not when you really, really think about Disney, but take Bambi out.
Mother Gothel is I think the most evil villain in all Disney movies. She's pretty evil. Tangled, if you guys haven't watched it, please do. It's the best Disney.
On the whole, a little darker and a little edgier than what we think of when we think of Disney.
Yeah, that's probably true.
What happened, Astrid? Did someone hurt you?
I had a very, very calm, very nice childhood. Thanks, Mum and Dad. I think definitely the royalty theme came from my love of Disney, and especially seeing female characters, girls, as a kid growing up, going after what they wanted, what they dreamed, which is a common thread in Disney movies, is kind of what a lot of YA is about. It centers around a female protagonist. It's about her wants, her dreams. And I love that. And I wanted to do a predominantly female cast in 4 Dead Queens, and I wanted them to all be different ages, different backgrounds, different personalities, so that there was someone that everyone could connect with. And the murder part, I just like murder mysteries. It's
So
not
glad you said mysteries. So that's a lot better than I was hoping for. I was concerned it was going to be. I just looked at Disney and I thought, cool, but what if they were mostly dead? So no good. You thought about feminism instead. That's a much. Give that answer if anyone asks. That's good.
not the murder angle.
No. I mean, you're already being watched with your Google history. There's no need to publicly confess that you find murder fascinating. In a second, those of you who have seen me launch books know that I always like to wrap up with a lightning round. All right. So the challenge here, Astrid, is one-word answers, no explanation, no justification. Favourite word? just one.
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral,
Sorry.
nice. Least favourite word?
Moist.
Favourite sound?
Disney,
Da, da,
yeah. Wait, with the thing at the start of every movie when it's like,
Delightful nerd. I love it.
I can't sing, sorry guys.
Well, cool, because the next one is favourite Disney movie.
Tangled.
What was your first word?
I don't know, mum, dad? Or mum, dad?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
say it was anyway. Favourite writing snack?
Tea. It's not a snack, but that's what I drink a lot of when I'm sorry, I'm giving explanations.
I know, you're losing points right now. All right, complete this sentence. I can't write without ...
Computer.
Correct answer. You do not need the scented candle or the right phase of the moon. You just need something to write with. All right. Early bird or night owl?
Neither. I like the middle of the day.
Sure, but are you meant to be doing your job though?
Yeah.
Never mind. All right. And that's the end of the lightning round.